to Cheap Shot Entertainment. You are the Cheap Shot Nation, and I am your host Luke, and we're going to be going through everything that happened in WarGames 2. That's NXT TakeOver WarGames 2. That took place on the 17th of November 2018. It was this past Saturday, and oh my goodness, what a show they put on from the first match to the last. Even the really quick match that happened, it was just absolutely epic, and yeah, really good watch. So if you haven't seen it, go over to the network, get yourself a free month and watch that show. You also get Survivor Series and the complete backlog of everything that WWE owns, so it's pretty good. $9.99, well spent. So yeah, like I say, we're going to take you through everything that happened, all the matches, so keep it locked right here on Cheap Shot Entertainment by clicking the subscribe button, liking the video and ringing that notification bell so you know when we upload new videos. So the first match of the evening was a bit of a shocker, to be honest, both because I didn't know that it was happening. I thought it was happening on NXT on Wednesday, on the following week, but also because it was over really quick. It featured the King of Bros, Bro, versus Kassius, Ohno, Bro, and yeah, basically this is how the match went. Riddle was in the ring, Ohno came out, ring the bell, knee, pin, Riddle wins. Kassius Ohno was completely sparked. I can see, like Woody said last night, I can see this being a something where they're going to come together to form a tag team for the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic or something like that. I can see that happening. Ohno's been on his case ever since he came in, but Riddle, oh, wow, such a cool guy. But yeah, he picks up his first pay-per-view win and goes home nice and quickly with his pay-per-view check. And your second match of the evening features the NXT Women's Championship. It is being defended in a 2 out of 3 falls match between Shayna Baszler, the new champion, winning it from Carradine, and Carradine, the former champion, being beaten by Shayna Baszler last time in some fairly dubious circumstances, with 2 of the 4 horsewomen of MMA helping Shayna Baszler to keep that championship, to win that championship at Evolution, the first ever all-women's pay-per-view that WWE have put on. So the match starts. Shayna gets a early flurry in on Shayna Baszler, rocking the MMA style fighter early on in the match, and Baszler then stops that onslaught after some interference from the same 2 members of the 4 horsewomen and locks in a clutch. It's not long then before Carradine taps out, decides to take the hit. It is, after all, a 2 out of 3 falls match, so she still has time to come back from that. Baszler is 1-0, goes straight back to the clutch, tries to tap Shayna out again really quickly. There's a single leg crab in there as well, but Shayna this time does get to the ropes. Shayna then starts throwing some strikes, some of the Japanese strong style that we know her for, and he's rocking Shayna Baszler at this point. There's a spike DDT on the apron, and Carradine then drops the insane elbow and gets the pin. 1-1 between Shayna and Shayna Baszler at this point. Goes to Baszler again, Baszler blocks, goes to kick her, gut wrench reversal into a sunset bomb and a near fall, and this is the odds are then evened. The 2 of the 4 horsewomen are out at ringside. The numbers become even as Dakota Kai and Io Shirai come down to help out Carradine at this point, who was being distracted by the horsewomen. Io Shirai hits a beautiful looking moonsault from the top, takes out everybody. But then Carradine does hit another insane elbow, goes for the pin. Baszler rolls through. Carradine's shoulders are on the mat, and Baszler actually wins clean. 2-1 to Baszler, and again a fantastic match, very quick, over very quick. Obviously the timing of this particular pay-per-view is key because you've got a really long match to finish. But yeah, I'm not surprised that Baszler kept the championship in this instance. If they put the title on Zayn, gave it immediately back to Baszler, they're probably not going to put it back on Zayn just for the sake of it. I think Carradine is going to pick it up at another takeover event, a big one, perhaps the one at the Royal Rumble, or even going all the way to New York and getting the championship back at the takeover event on WrestleMania weekend. But yeah, really, really good match. Shame about the interference, because I mean these two can put on a really good match, but I suppose they needed to get this exposure on the horsewomen now, because it does look like when I'll get to this when I do my SummerSlam review, not SummerSlam, Survivor Series review. It does look like they are setting up finally for the 4 horsewomen versus the 4 horsewomen match that a few people have been after. But your winner in this match, 2-1, is Shayna Baszler, keeping the championship around her waist. The following match is a singles match, and it is the 3rd match of the night. It is Johnny Gargano coming down to the ring dressed as the Punisher, going against Aleister Black, the man that he attacked a couple of months ago to get his title shot against Tommaso Ciampa, having cost Aleister Black the championship in the first place, trying to get involved in the match. And wow, what a match. This whole pay-per-view was fantastic. We've come to expect this from NXT anyway, because their pay-per-views are not every month. So they have more time to build it up. It's more anticipated. But this match has been building up. There's a lot of resentment here. Johnny Gargano turning heel and playing it really well. But there's only ever really one way this would go. But my goodness, Johnny Gargano proved his name of Johnny Wrestling on this night, because he was absolutely on fire all the way through this match, only to drop to Black Mass at the end. But it was a very equal match, even Stevens. But for everything that Aleister Black threw at Johnny Gargano had an answer. Even at one point using the grid in between the 2 rings. Obviously there's 2 rings in this one for the WarGames match, and it just, wow, there's dives to the outside, there's reversals from those dives to the outside. At one point Aleister Black catches Johnny Gargano with a knee. Johnny Gargano just flops onto the floor. It looked absolutely nasty. And the near falls after near fall after near fall. There's a jumping, spinning knee to finish the match, followed by a Black Mass. Johnny Gargano is absolutely out by this point. Aleister Black says something to Johnny Gargano about his sins, and then hits Black Mass again. Johnny Gargano is out. There's no way he's kicking out this. Aleister Black is your winner. I'd suggest you get over to the network and watch this match. It is absolutely fantastic. It's absolutely 5 stars from me, and I don't give a lot of reviews where I give star rating, but this match is absolutely epic. So yeah, your winner is Aleister Black. Cool entrance theme, comes out with a cool looking jacket as well. and takes out Johnny Gargano, your winner, Aleister Black. And your next match is the fourth match of the night. It is the NXT Championship match. The champion, Tommaso Ciampa, winning the title from Aleister Black after some interference from Johnny Gargano, has been pretty dominant in his championship reign, really. He's had at least one match to speak of, and he was able to retain the championship on that occasion. And he's now going against a young wrestler called the Velveteen Dream. The NXT universe are absolutely enthralled by this guy. He does have a fantastic character to go with it as well. My mate Woody is not enamoured by him. He respects that he's a really talented wrestler, but sometimes in wrestling, you just, even how good people are, you just don't get on with them. I don't mind the Velveteen Dream. I think he's got a really good gimmick, but I fear for when he gets brought up to the main card, because I fear that that gimmick is going to be taken away from him, and that is basically everything that he's about. Tommaso Ciampa, on the other hand, is very one-dimensional, very stone cold, and he's like playing the sort of mad scientist sort of wrestler, calling the title Goldie, for example, and he doesn't even spin any tracks. But just two really good characters going against each other, and my goodness, how can you top the last match by putting this match on? This is fantastic. If you watch two matches from this pay-per-view, it's got to be these two back to back. Absolutely brilliant. We were on the edge of our seats when we watched this. It was absolutely fantastic. There's an early stalemate to start off the match. Ciampa is on the receiving end of quite a beating from the Velveteen Dream. Ciampa then comes back with some punches of his own. Dream fights back from there and hulks up. There's a lot of references to old school here. He's wearing Hollywood Hulk Hogan style dress, and does a lot of hulking up. It's basically playing the Velveteen Eugene in this match, stealing lots of different moves, including a rock bottom and all that kind of stuff. But there's loads of reversals, loads of near falls in this match. There's some fighting on the outside, and Dream nearly realises his dream when he goes for the Death Valley roll through drop and hits the Purple Rain. Is it the Purple Rainmaker? I don't think it is. That's someone completely different. But he hits his top rope elbow and almost wins the championship. Tommaso Ciampa does kick out at this point and come back again. Ciampa at this point does bring the championship into the ring. Velveteen Dream uses that championship to do a spinning DDT. Dream then sends Ciampa over the announce table, and there's a Purple Rainmaker and a near fall again. Goes to the outside, misses Ciampa on this one. Ciampa back in. There's a hanging DDT on the metal plate in between the two rings, and Ciampa pins Velveteen Dream after an absolutely fantastic match. Kudos to Velveteen Dream and Tommaso Ciampa putting on a fantastic match. Dream is going places. There's a lot of hype behind him at this point in time, and Tommaso Ciampa is just a fantastic heel champion for transition purposes. But I think he's more than transition. He's built up to this point really well. I do think that Aleister Black will probably get the championship back at some point, but I hope it's not for a little while yet. I hope that's not for a little while. He's still got to cash in his return match, but there's I'm speechless about this match. It's just fantastic. Go and watch it. It's a lot easier than me trying to explain it, but I've gone through everything. It gives you a basic idea, but it's absolutely brilliant. go and watch this match. And with an epic show behind us, we move on to the final game, the namesake of this pay-per-view. It is War Games, in which two rings are surrounded by one cage. There's two teams. There's two guys start in the ring, one from each team. After 5 minutes, the first person is released from the first team to let the entrant in. It's a bit like a Royal Rumble come Elimination Chamber type thing. It's only when all 8 competitors are in the ring that War Games starts. That's the only time you can get the win, and it's only by pinfall or submission. If you climb over the top and your feet hit the floor, you forfeit the match to the other team. And this is where it varies from other matches. Not only are there 2 rings, which is very unique anyway, but there's also that stipulation as well. If you hit the floor, you forfeit the match for your team. So War Games number 2. Both War Games matches have featured the Undisputed Era. Last year's War Games match was ever so slightly different. It featured 3 teams of 3. This year it's 2 teams of 4, which is more of a traditional way of doing War Games, a la WCW. The winning team on NXT last week got to have the advantage in this match, and that was Undisputed Era. So to start with, it is Cole and Ricochet rekindling their rivalry. Of course, Ricochet beating Adam Cole for the North American Championship and proudly displaying that round his waist as he makes his entrance. They go at it for 5 minutes. Ricochet manages to get on top before the first entrant is released from the cage. It happens to be Kyle O'Reilly from Undisputed Era, and then they take over Ricochet. Obviously there's 2-1 advantage here. There is a jumping shooting star press from Ricochet as soon as Hansen comes in. Hansen, the bigger of the 2 War Raiders with the bigger beard and the longer hair. He comes in next, followed by Strong for the Undisputed Era. There's 3-minute intervals on this as well, so they get the advantage again, followed by Rowe. At this point, the War Raiders team, the Ricochet, Hansen, Rowe and Dunn are on top. But as the final entrant comes in, which is Bobby Fish from the Undisputed Era, he gets a chain and a padlock and locks Pete Dunne inside of his holding cell, so Pete Dunne can't get out. 3 minutes passes, Pete Dunne still can't get out. The referee proclaims that this key doesn't work for this lock. Obviously, it's a different lock. That's how padlocks work. But they do eventually go and get a bolt cutter and get Dunne out, and he enters the match. Should be noted as well that there's undisputed steel chairs, Undisputed Era steel chairs available under the ring. Wonder if they're available under the ring in 2K19. Answers in the comments section down below, because if that is true, I will be going out and buying that game immediately. I didn't get the game simply because 2K18 was utter rubbish and I refused to buy 2K19, although I've heard good things, so I probably will pick it up eventually. Dunne finally gets in. He is the moving man. He brings in chairs, he brings in tables, he's got a kendo stick, and this is where War Games begin. This is where the fun starts. There's a lot of staring down, there's a lot of fighting between the 2 factions, and both factions get on top at different points in the match. Like I say, furniture mover in Pete Dunne is definitely made a difference in this match. It's now 4-on-4. Hansen hits a splash on O'Reilly through a table. O'Reilly has Ricochet caught in a triangle choke. Lots of triangle chokes over this weekend, both on WarGames and on Survivor Series as well. Triangle choke, O'Reilly's being set up on the table, triangle choke on Ricochet. Hansen jumps from the ropes of one ring into the other ring and splashes O'Reilly through a table. Oh my goodness, that is absolutely insane. The agility of this big guy is incredible. And that's one of the big spots. The other big spot is a Tower of Doom with Adam Cole on top. Adam Cole climbs up to the top. Ricochet goes after him. Adam Cole tries to push Ricochet to the outside. Of course, if Ricochet hits the floor, he forfeits the match. Obviously, he was never going to fall from that height without a table under him, at least. But hey, smarts. The Undisputed Era really thought about how their tactics are going to work in this game, in this WarGames match. There's Tower of Doom, Adam Cole on top of the Tower of Doom. Everyone goes crashing down. It's like the scene of a car crash. It is unbelievable. Ricochet, of course, is still on top of the cage at this point now. Ricochet, being Ricochet, does his spinny ball thingy onto everybody and takes everyone out. At this point, everyone is laid out on the floor. Undisputed Era retreat to the second ring, and the War Raiders team is in the other ring. They then sort of charge each other down like an old school sort of film where there's two warring factions. Really, really good scenes. The match finishes when Dorna tries to hit the bitter end. It is countered by Adam Cole. He does eventually get back in and hit the bitter end. As soon as he's trying to go for the pin, Ricochet then does a 450 splash off the turnbuckle. Adam Cole is completely out. The other members of the Undisputed Era are also nowhere to be seen. Both Ricochet and Pete Dunne pin Adam Cole for the win, renewing their little rivalry over the UK Championship and the North American Championship. Obviously, WWE are big on these two, and why not? Pete Dunne is awesome. Ricochet is pretty damn cool. One of the very few high flyers I can get behind, and he's really, really cool. He's got no fear. He's just incredible. So your winners are the War Raiders, Pete Dunne and Ricochet, and they go over the Undisputed Era, possibly finishing that feud, although the War Raiders will probably want another tag team championship match based on the fact that Bobby Fish interfered in the match last time when they had that opportunity, and that is when Bobby Fish came back. Obviously Bobby Fish was being protected in this one, still got a bandaged knee, still got his knee brace on, but fantastic match. Overall, fantastic pay-per-view. Well done NXT WarGames, well done to the writers and everything, because it was absolutely epic. And so that is everything that happened in NXT WarGames TakeOver 2 here on Cheap Shot Entertainment. You have been the Cheap Shot Nation. If you like the video, give us a thumbs up, share it with your friends, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you can know when we upload new content to the channel. And yeah, fantastic pay-per-view. If you haven't got the network, go and get a network subscription. $9.99, first month is free. Absolutely worth it. Fantastic pay-per-view as always for NXT TakeOver. And yeah, that's everything for this video, and we'll see you next time. Goodbye.